Bro, have you have y'all ever seen those TikToks and they're like, all you need is liquidity sweeps, or like all you need is liquidity in risk for value gaps? Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Those are two very lethal combo if you really understand market narrative. Essentially, that is really all you need. Essentially, all you need is actually manipulation. I will tell you guys right now, my trading has gotten better just by waiting for manipulation. Okay. Now, I'm not saying I'm no guru, I'm like the master manipulator. That's going to be the title of this video, by the way. Master, no, no, no. Master manipulator manipulates the market. That's going to be, yep. Nice. Anyways, my trading has gotten a lot better after I started to really implement manipulation and just overall higher time frame market structure, and just under being a full observer of the market, right? A lot of you guys know who Justin Werling is. He is a great observer of the market, right? He's not here to predict, he's here to observe. He's drawing buy side swept, he's drawing SMTs on the higher time frame, and he's going through all of the higher time frames starting from like the 4 hour or the daily, and ends up taking a 15-second trade right off of like a 15-second change in the state, and he's just aligning all the time frames together. And I think that's just really important. I think if you really want to become a better trader, it is very important to understand and develop your observing skills of overall market structure, right? Because essentially we're intraday traders. We're here for our piece of the pie, and stuff like that. So when people talk about, all you need is like buy side swept, sell side swept. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, here's a prime example. Here's buy side external swept on the 4 hour. What do we do after? We kind of end up going back down, right? Simple higher time frame for value gap here. This goes inverse. Again, just a higher time frame structure. You have a bunch of internals here, and then you have an external sitting down over here. If you miss this first entry, price actually retraces back into the in risk for value gap and then to another, right? Simple. All created from what? This is a model on the higher time frame. Again, time frames are fractal, right? There is models within models within models within models, leading to 15-second, 5-second market maker sell models and market maker buy models, right? Um, but really, what I want you guys to really understand is that manipulation should be one of your best friends when it comes to trading. And it has power, especially on the higher time frame. And it just, manipulation is what starts to build the story from the ground up. Okay, that's how I wanted to put to you, how I wanted to put it to you guys. Manipulation is what starts the story. Now, manipulation could be turtle soup, etc. Could be an SMT. You guys have to remember, an SMT also is a form of manipulation, and the reason being is because ES or YM or whatever you're using your SMT with. The SMT is created off of one indice taking out a low or a high compared to NQ, right? So right here, this is an SMT with ES. So ES did the manipulation for us, creating this SMT, and then I entered off of this 5-minute inversion here. Now, this trade was actually taking forever. Again, this is very late as well. This is at around 10 o'clock. So New York PM just started. Kind of a choppy session. And I just didn't like these wicks. Can you see this? Right? These wicks just all look pretty ugly. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just go for a 1-to-1. I'm not gonna be holding for full TP. I'm gonna just take what I can get. It's a Monday. Had a solid Monday on the Apex accounts, really close to getting these to payout eligible. Super close as you can see. So calm day 261. This actually ends up slapping TP. If I had gone break even, this would have been a break even trade. But for the most part, if you're like fully confident that we're gonna at least go to this high, um, price actually just rips through it. So that's that, right? So again, all really based on, and I a lot of times I've been, kind of just talking about this as well, is your system should be implemented in every trade that you take. So by what I mean by that is just, your trade should be very much identical to all the other trades you've taken, right? If you're one day you're doing quarterly theory, the next day you're doing orb, the next day you're doing like an interest for value gaps. Don't get me wrong, that's cool. That's cool. But long-term sustainability wise, you should always have a bread and butter. You should always have a bread and butter, like something you can rely on, something you know inside and out, and something you're really familiar with, and different variations of the market. Like right now, like don't get me wrong, on the 5 minute, this is completely chop, right? But I like it. I've been a lot of my trades look very much the same. I'm trusting the process here. I'm trusting the system. If this were to backfire, I'm not going to be blaming the system. I'm not going to be like, oh, uh, I should add some new strategy into it. Maybe it makes it better. No, it's just, nothing's going to be 100% in the market, right? It makes no sense, right? You should never be blaming your system unless you really, really know something is wrong with your system, right? So, again, talking about just overall manipulation, very important. Very important. I think you guys should 100% start to implement manipulation on all of your guys' trades. That could be a turtle soup, that could be an SMT, higher time frame, that could be literally anything. But if there's no manipulation, essentially you just shouldn't take a trade, right? Because you guys have to remember, when we are observing the market is telling us a story. The market is telling us a story, and it is our job not to predict what's going to happen at the end of the story, but it's to observe how we're going to get there. Right? That's straight sauce right now. That is straight sauce. Um, right. We're not here to observe how the book is going to end, right? We're here to observe how we're going to get there and when we're going to get there. Who's going to die on the way there, right? Like, who has the potential of actually dying on the way to the end of the book or something, whatever. You guys know what I'm saying, right? Like, so with that being said, since we're just completely being observers of the market, manipulation is a main character and should be a main character in your story. Followed by obviously other confluences, right? You could be trading order, you could add higher time frame order blocks, higher time frame, change the states of delivery, just anything. Like for instance, oh, that was no. You have a very small order block resting right over here. Keep tapping into it, right? I mean, it's literally everywhere. It is absolutely everywhere. Um, right, like over here, changing the state on the 30-minute. Again, I always talk about this too. Order blocks and changing the state are best when they are getting disrespected with a fair value gap. You know, creating a fair value gap through that. While disrespecting it. Sorry, that was worded really, really wrong. The best order blocks and changing the states are the ones that get disrespected, and while they're getting disrespected, they're creating a gap, right? So this is perfect right over here. So this is you observing, right? This is you observing what we're gonna do, and if you're saying, okay, well, we have the potential of potentially going up to this high, how are we gonna get there, right? Observe. You're observing here. You're observing here. Here is manipulation, right? Here is your manipulation here. You just have so much. You just have so many things everywhere to observe. Now, the hardest part about what I'm actually talking about is just getting the screen time and actually trying it. Like, you might be like, oh, is this wrong? Like, should I be drawing this order block? Should I be drawing this fair value gap? Who cares, dude? Just draw it. Draw it and make the mistake. Don't expect to be perfect. Don't be like, oh, you draw like a fair value gap on this one. Oh, is this an important fair value gap, dude? At that point, you're just second guessing yourself, and like, you're just you're causing too much panic, right? It's either you draw it or you don't draw it, or you use it or you don't use it, and all of that comes with screen time. That's why I'm saying if you are slowly, you're not really observing the market. You're kind of just looking for a model. And I can find models absolutely everywhere. If you're simply a model trader and you're not really observing the market, I promise you your trading will get 100 times better if you actually start to observe the market rather than just taking any model. Right? I can find inverse for value gaps everywhere. Now, is it going to work? Probably not, because you're not fully observing the higher time frame and you're not observing the story that the market is currently telling you in order for that inverse for value gap to actually work. Does that make sense what I'm saying? I hope all of this makes sense what I'm saying. I'm just not rambling. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I think I might be going crazy, bro. I actually think I might be going crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know. I actually think I might be going crazy. But I promise you, observe the market. If you're new to observing, and you're not really observing the market, and you're kind of just trading a model. Whenever you think you see a model, you just take it. Try observing the market. Try analyzing the story of the market and it's at its current state, right? That is going to make you a trader, a better trader 100 times. Yeah. Yep. 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 I also think that it is scary. Don't get me wrong. Um, but just watch videos. There's so much free content online. If you go to Justin Werling's old videos, like his live streams, from like 2 years ago, he and you watch one of his newer videos, he's doing the exact same thing. Don't get me wrong, like the whole break even thing or whatever. I don't care, but he's a good teacher and what he teaches is good. I don't care. Like, dude, he could be secretly homeless for all I care, but I don't know. I've learned so much from him to the point where it's like it's benefited me for the better. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, I think Justin is one of the best observers. One of the best observers. He lets Price paint the story, and whenever he thinks it's ready, he finds his edge on the lower time frame and he executes. Right. And again, don't be so scared, right? Don't be like, oh, is this a good for value gap? Dude, just do it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you go back later in the day in your journal. I cannot, I cannot like preach this enough. Self reflection is one of the best things you can do for yourself as a trader. Self reflection. You guys don't understand, like, all the videos I make of me doing like a market recap of my trade. This is also self-reflection, right? I'm seeing the trade. This is kind of back testing in a way, to the point where I'm seeing the trade again and I'm like, it's going into my brain, right? I see trades and I see like my model and my trades. Obviously the market doesn't, present itself the same various times. My trade's gonna look different in variations, like, but it's all the same. Like, I promise you, like, oh, my internet is dying. Change in the state, SMT, higher time frame, PD array. I actually ended up, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is the system. The system fucked me, right? It stopped me out, but I entered. I literally re-entered and hit my TP, right? I'm not blaming the system. The market's gonna do market things. Here's another trade. Exact same thing. Change in the state. Here's another trade. Manipulation here. Continuation into new week opening gap. Here's another trade. Manipulation. Higher time frame. Higher time frame. Change in the state. 1 minute continuation. SMT. Inverse for value gap. Change in the state on the higher time frame. Internal sell side. Right? It's just variations of the same thing. Right? Every story, every day, the market is going to bring you a new story, and it's your job to observe and potentially, not predict the ending, but try to observe how we might get to the end. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm just saying, hey, and the story, one of the best main characters in a story is manipulation. I promise you. I promise you. Manipulation is one of the best main characters in the story. There's narrative. It gives it reason. It sponsors a move. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. Yeah, I feel like I'm going crazy just like talking about this. Yeah, man. It's crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. There's just manipulation everywhere. Manipulation everywhere, and it gives reason, it gives storytelling. Now, don't get me wrong, the market has been looking very choppy, but manipulation is literally everywhere. And it should be one of your main things that you're using inside of your trading in order for you to actually even take a trade. Like look at the dude, look at this higher time frame model here. All because of what? All because we took out this high. This is what starts the story. So here, this is like filler. Think about this like an anime. Here's filler, and then a new opponent comes in, and then he's like the opponent killed like the main character's mom or something. That's when it gets interesting, right? This is where it gets interesting, right over here, right here. This is where it gets interesting. And then they start fighting. They start fighting. There might be like a little filler episode in there, and then boom, main character dies. We inverse this. We inverse this higher time frame for value gap. And we go lower. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a story behind this. Our job is to wait and watch the story form, and then we take action. If you're thinking we might go here, okay, how are we gonna get here? Well, manipulation. Oh, higher time frame for value gap gets inversed. Boom. Yep. Hey man, that's it for this video. This video is getting about 20 minutes long. I love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Hey, use manipulation. Use it. Use it. It's good. It's very good, and it's gonna save you a lot of time and energy. Right? Like you don't want to be trading this. You don't want to be trading this. Higher time frame manipulation right over here happens. Boom. Catch a nice look. You catch a really nice trade. Listen, it's all about making trading easy. Trading is supposed to benefit you. It's supposed to better your life. It could definitely ruin you. It has it could definitely ruin you. It could definitely, put you in a mental hole. Only if you let it though. Only if you're taking the wrong approach on things. Right? Only if you're like half assing it. Yep. Hey man. I love y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace, peace.